venovaný rozprávačstvu, venovaný storytellingu. Ďalšia naša speakerka pochádza z Nórska, teda z jednej z krajín aj sponzorských pre toto podujatie. A Ane Aamodt bude rozprávať o veľmi ťažkej téme, o téme, ktorú je zvlášť zložité dostať zrozumiteľne a citlivo k verejnosti. Je to téma sexuálneho násilia na deťoch. Téma, ktorá ľudí, ako som ja, mnohých z vás, ktorí ste rodičmi, máte deti, určite sa nás hlboko dotýka a desí nás aj fascinuje. A ja som si, keď som si pripravoval podklady k našej speakerke, spomenul hneď na našu slovenskú nedávnu kauzu čistého dňa a vôbec toho, akom stave máme naše resocializačné zariadenia, ako sa dejú pravdepodobne prípady sexuálneho násilia aj u nás. A v Nórsku je to téma mimoriadne citlivá. A v tejto súvislosti je trochu zvláštna táto otázka, ale týka sa celej konferencie ako takej. Môžete v rámci slajdov aj hlasovať, takže pripojte sa a samozrejme zase môžete posielať aj svoje otázky. Pani Aamodt vedie kampaň Zachránte deti a práve jej príbeh rozpráva o tom, ako takúto tému vedie dostať z úctou k obetiam čo najširšej verejnosti. Anne, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very proud of this campaign, who has the name I Am Here. Norwegian is not my mother language, so I have to stick to my script, just as you know that. My name is Ane Aamodt, and I am the campaign manager at Save the Children Norway, and I have led this campaign called I Am Here. This is about preventing sexual abuse of children. Now I'm leading a new campaign called Every Last Child, focus on the groups of children who are left behind and being systematically discriminated. But today I will talk about sexual abuse of children. I've been asked to talk about how we used storytelling in this campaign, and I really appreciate that. For me, storytelling is one of the most important elements in this campaign. I will spend most of the time focusing on those who have told us their stories and on children who are currently carrying a big secret. But I will also put sexual abuse into a larger framework, the need for such a campaign, so that you understand why we created this campaign. The aim of this campaign is to break the silence surrounding sexual abuse of children. So, why this silence? And we have to begin with ourselves. We need to face the fact that everyone can have an important role in their own and other children's lives. I have 2 children, a girl who is 19 and a boy who is 14 years old. Both of my children have attended kindergarten, school, and have participated in activities in their spare time. During these years, we have received regular warnings about white vans. A letter from school that tells that someone has tried to stop one of the students on their way from school. The routine then is that parents have to repeat to our children that they never must go along with strangers or walk alone through the forest. Every time the school would send out such a letter, I have talked to my kids about that. Then, until I started this campaign, that had been my only concern related to child sexual abuse. I had obviously read about the ugly stuff in the papers, and I said like this, oh, the air. But I always put it off by thinking that it has nothing to do with me. I was convinced that only crazy people who might assault a child never will across our path. The reality, however, is that almost all child victims of sexual abuse know the abuser. Most often, it's a relative, a neighbor, a leader of the leisure activity, or the father of a friend. People who abuse children appear outwardly as good people, and they look and act like ordinary people. These are people to whom the children have confidence. I was naive, and I am one of many. My mindset is like average Joe. If I had not started working for Save the Children with this campaign, I would still think that sexual abuse and related to these white vans. When I started working with this campaign, a new world of knowledge opened itself to me. And I have received a lot of good advices over the years working on this campaign. But the most important and perhaps the simplest advice is, if children can bear to live with this, then you can bear to hear. In practice, it means to endure to hear and believe what children tell. And it was my job to get more people to endure hearing. As a trained sociologist, I have a fundamental belief in stories, and that individuals' narratives and stories can help changing the society and the systems. In this campaign, we wanted to tell the stories and understand what sexual abuse is and what it does to each individual. In that way, we can make an effort to stop and prevent sexual abuse of children. I have met many people who have told me about their experiences in their childhood, experiences which surpasses all my imagination. All the persons I have met have made a strong impression on me, but it's one particular person who has had an enormous effect on me. 2 years ago, when I started to collect stories to this campaign, I met a girl who was then 21 years old. She was small, almost invisible, but with a strong story, clear voice, and a desire to contribute in this campaign. She began telling me her story by saying, "I have always felt different." And then she spoke about daily assaults carried out by her father, mother, uncle, and grandfather. She told me that she was the quiet girl in the classroom, the girl who were using all the mental capacity to hide the great secret. Meanwhile, what she wanted most of all was for anyone to see her, ask her, and stop that was happening at home. She told me that she feels lonely and how every day now is a struggle with memories. Something inside me told me that is not true. But it is. This girl is only a few years older than my daughter. My daughter just moved to another town in Norway where she has started as a student at the university. She rejoices over new friends in a new city. Meanwhile, this girl lives in a care home with regular stays at psychiatric ward. These stories, as well as several others, are examples we used during the campaign. We have to dare to tell all the stories to break down our prejudice about what we think abuse of children is, deal with the fact that we can think that we can see who is at risk and who abuses the children, since the signs of abuse, however, are seldom and unfortunately visible. Girls like her sitting in the classroom around the country, and we just have to find them. And I will now show you the movie with these girls. We have given the movie the title, "I Wish Mom and Dad Had Been Two Monsters," and it's English subtitles here.
Jeg og pappa, vi hadde alltid klabbet til ski, og alle gikk forbi oss i løypene. fordi han smurte alltid med blå slips, selv om det var plussgrader. Men jeg synes at det var fint likevel da. Og så når vi endelig fikk av oss disse skia og kom oss i bilen, så delte vi Kvikk Lunsj. Og han ga meg alltid den største biten. Det er dager jeg får lyst til å ringe og invitere mamma og pappa på middag. Da skulle han servert fiskesuppe. De skulle ha rost maten, og mamma skulle ha spurt hvilket krydder jeg har brukt. Og så skulle vi ha snakket om fremtiden, og de hadde vært stolt av at jeg skal bli sykepleier. Jeg er 21 år, men jeg har ikke sluttet å dagdrømme. Det hadde vært lettere å glemme mamma og pappa hvis de bare hadde vært to monster. To monster som misbrukte meg fra jeg var 3 til jeg var 20 år. Men det var ikke to monster. Det var foreldrene mine. Mamma, hun bakte kake til juleavslutningene, og pappa gikk på dugnad. Og de gikk på alle foreldremøtene. De var veltalende, høflige. Og det var ingen som trodde meg når jeg sa at det var bråk og høylytt krangling hjemme. Jeg var med på alt. Skiklubb, korpset, fotballen. Og det jeg likte best var å snakke med de voksne. Laglederen, treneren, dirigenten. Jeg lurte alltid på noe. Men det jeg ville var at de skulle spørre meg hvorfor jeg kom så tidlig og gikk hjem igjen så sent. For da hadde jeg ikke klart å holde det inne lenger. Men det var ingen som spurte. Jeg måtte ligge i mamma og pappas seng. Pappa var brutal. Men det mamma gjorde, det var verre. Det var verre fordi hun var mamma. Jeg trodde at mammaer skulle ta vare på en når resten av verden rakna. Men det gjorde ikke hun. Hun sa at hun var glad i meg. Men i dag vet jeg at hun løg. På 18-årsdagen så brøt jeg med pappa. Men det tok lengre tid med mamma. Jeg hadde hørt om overgrep som blir begått av menn. Men det at det var en dame, og at jeg var en jente, eller det at hun er mammaen min, det var vanskelig. Jeg trodde at jeg var alene om det. Men så skjønte jeg at det er flere der ute. Og da begynte jeg å tro på meg selv, og de minnene jeg har, og følelsene som jeg har. 21-årsdagen min feirer jeg uten mamma og pappa. Men jeg har folk som er glad i meg på ekte. Noe av det fineste jeg vet er å gå på ski. Jeg går på ski uten kladder, fordi jeg har lært meg at det finnes forskjellige skismørning. Jeg går til og med forbi folk i løypene. Og jeg går fortere og fortere for hver gang. Dette er historien til en 21 år gammel jente som har vært utsatt for seksuelle overgrep. Jeg har valgt å gi min stemme til henne. Barn som er utsatt for overgrep, de trenger at vi er der for dem. Bare sånn kan de bli sett, hørt og trodd. Derfor er jeg her.
On this film, it's a well-known, famous film director, Margaret Olin. In all the movies, it's famous people who lend their voices to people who have told us their story. And for a few days ago, I spent some hours with a girl on this film. We meet quite often. We go for a walk, and we buy yarn for knitting, and we talk about life. I told her that I should come here and talk about stories and her film. And I asked her if there is something I should tell you, and she said, when I asked to share my story, I did not hesitate to say yes. If my story has reached one other person, it was worth it. I really hope I have managed to reach someone who has been suffering from abuse themselves. I hope my story story has helped someone to feel less alone. And with this story as an important backdrop, I will go back to talk about the national campaign name I Am Here. As I said, we wanted to break the silence. The campaign wanted to shatter the taboos and raise public awareness about the fact that sexual abuse of children happens more frequently and closer to you than you can imagine. It has major consequences for each exposed child as well as for the society as a whole. Save the Children has been committed to getting more people to understand that sexual abuse of children affects them and that most people can contribute in the struggle to prevent child sexual abuse. We wanted to mobilize the most important people in the fight against child sexual abuse, namely adults who care about children. The target group has been parents, aunts and uncles, grandparents, teachers and kindergarten staff, and leisure activity manager. In addition, children themselves have been an important target group for this campaign. This campaign is based on 3 important elements. Firstly, we use the facts and figures about child sexual abuse. Secondly, we conducted a knowledge survey amongst the Norwegian population. And thirdly, we collected stories from people who have been sexually abused as children. These 3 elements have been important pillars of the campaign. The reason for this is that we, in different ways and with different measures, must tell what sexual abuse is about. The combination between actual figures, the Norwegian attitudes and stories provides a background saying that sexual abuse happens more frequently, more closely, and is more harmful to people than people can imagine. When it comes to facts and figures, it is unknown what the actual numbers are. We know there is a lot of unreported cases. In short, we can say that on average there are 2 girls and 1 boy in a class of 30 who has or will suffer from some sort of sexual abuse as a child, and it's up to 18 years old. Attitude survey. Our supposition was that there is a lack of knowledge about the subject within the Norwegian population. That was one reason for why we decided to map out people's knowledge and perception about sexual abuse of children as a baseline for how the campaign should be focused. We found that half of the Norwegian population knows 1 or more person that has been sexually abused as a child. And stories. No one knows better how it feels to be abused than the person who has the personal experience. No one knows better how it feels not to be seen, heard, or believed, or what it takes to be able to tell your story. Every victim of sexual abuse has a story that deserves to be told. It is their pain we will alleviate, and it is their stories we want to avoid happening. Therefore, Save the Children had to ensure that real stories were told in all available channels. Those who have told their stories have given Save the Children's campaign both direction and focus. The overriding goal is to make life safer for children. The persons we have talked to are adults. All of them have received help. But who are the children today? Where are the kids that still keeping these horrible and difficult secrets? The kids are out there, and we must do everything we can so they do not have to carry these secrets alone. In order to get people to realize that sexual abuse happens, Save the Children made together 12 of these films on from anonymous people. In all films, we used famous actors, and there are several reasons for why we used the anonymity. The most important one is that we wanted to avoid outing anyone who did not wish for that. When people we look up to help to articulate sexual abuse, we hope it would increase the attention and make it less dangerous for people to talk about the matter. Further, it was important for us to break prejudice by displaying various forms of abuse and various predators. We are talking about fathers, mothers, uncles, step-parents, brothers, family friends, teachers, as well as abuse from peers. We have tried to say something about the consequences and the different expressions and behaviors. We have people who tell that they were the obedient and silent child, or the noisy and externalized child. We have met people who has been overworking, developed eating disorder, had mental health problem, or using drugs. All the people have one thing in common. They act like this to cover an inner pain. Another thing they all have in common is shame and silence, the secret that caused the victim so much pain. In addition, we looked at what created the change. What acted as the turning point in the child's life. And that is extremely important, to identify what led to a change. It can be that one person who asked how the condition actually were. It may be the nurse who never gave up, or it can be the person that believed when the child finally told their story. In addition to 10 films with adult actors, we made 2 films with children lent their voice to someone's stories. These 2 films are fit to be viewed by children from 10 years upwards. And before I say anything about what we have achieved with making these films, I'll spend some minutes by talking about why children do not tell about sexual abuse. How do I on the time? I'm fine? Yes? A survey completed by the Norwegian Directorate for Children and Health tells that children subjected to sexual abuse keep their secret on average for 17 and a half years. 17 and a half years. That is an entire childhood. We know that children spend a lot of time, energy, and effort to keep these secrets. It occupies their minds and it conflicts with their sleep. Several say that they struggle to concentrate at school, often after being the whole night on alert. In their mind, everything revolves around the abuse, how to get away from it, whom they can tell the secret to, and so on. Children use a lot of time to hide. They are afraid that people can see what they have been exposed to, that people can understand it, or even smell it. It is highly important that adults understand why children do not manage to tell us about their secret. And here is some important learnings and type of knowledge which all adults should have in mind when interacting with people. Children think this is normal. When no one tells children what's normal or not, and the subject matter isn't talked about, children think that sexual abuse is normal. They are subjected to threats. Many children are afraid to tell us what's going on because of threats. They feel responsibility and guilt. Many children who suffer from abuse never manage to say no to what has happened. They are ashamed. They believe that they are the problem and that there is something wrong with them. They can also think that they deserve it. They do not believe that adults will believe them. They are afraid of being blamed, or they do not know that help is available. So then I will go on to say something about the reactions we have got of these movies. I like all the movies incredibly well. They seem sincere and causes me to learn more about the topic. All stories are touching. These 12 films have had more than 1 million views and 10,000 shares in total on Facebook. The films are some of the most shared items on Save the Children's Facebook page ever. The films have been shared outside of Save the Children's regular audience. For example, a colleague of us said that she had seen her cousin who works in the oil industry having shared one of the films. It was especially effective to use children themselves to tell other children's story. The film with the child actor called Eilif Hellum Noraker is the film with most shares and likes. And then I will go back to something that is very important and touching for me. I got an email one day from a young woman. And with reading this email, I think that every minute I have invested in this campaign has been worth it. She says, after watching your videos with the stories from people who have suffered from sexual abuse, I too have finally told someone about what's happening to me. Thank you so much for making these films. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to tell anyone about the abuse I have suffered. I have kept it to myself for nearly 9-10 years, and now, finally, it is out. Thank you. And then I have to repeat the message of the girl on 21 years who says, if my story has reached one other person, it was worth it. And to the final, I would say something. We wanted to be brave in Save the Children and with this campaign. If it's a taboo with assaulting girls, is there even a bigger taboo of sexual abuse of boys and men? Therefore, I will finally show you a film where Nikolai Klevebrok lent his voice to a man who is 56 years old. 3 of the films are about men. And the films were shown at a male survivor of sexual abuse on a conference in the United States. And here is one feedback from a man. I found the videos really attracted my full attention. I felt supported by the people standing in for the abused person. I felt the message at the end of each video carried an extra power to them. If really counted, my child believes to no one sees, no one hears, no one comes, no one cares. Very powerful. Let me take the film and then I'm finished. Yes.
Da jeg var liten, så hadde jeg en lillebror. Han hadde innsnevret hovedåret, så hjertet hans tålte nesten ingenting. Mamma og pappa de gjorde alt hva de kunne for at han ikke skulle begynne å gråte. Jeg husker mamma bar på han hele tiden. Vandret fram og tilbake over stuegulvet og vugget han i armene sine mens hun hvisket trøstende ord til han. Og min oppgave det var å være helt stille. Helst ikke være synlig i det hele tatt. Men det hjalp ikke. Han døde da han var 2 år, og da ble jeg enebarn. Jeg var 4, og jeg tror det var da det begynte. Det var min skyld at han døde, sa mamma. Ordene brant seg fast i meg. Jeg hadde laget for mye lyd, fått han til å begynne å gråte, og så... Og nå skyldte jeg henne alt. Og det ble min oppgave å være der for henne, i hennes verden. Være tryggheten hennes, og gi henne seksuell tilfredsstillelse. Pappa gikk på jobb klokken 7 hver dag. Jeg våknet alltid når han låste seg ut. Akkurat som kroppen skjønte hva som skulle skje. Og da ropte mamma på meg, og så måtte jeg skynde meg inn på soverommet hennes. Hvis du ikke gjør som jeg sier, forteller jeg det til pappa, sa hun alltid. Jeg visste ikke hva han var i stand til, men ifølge henne så var han kjempefarlig. Så det var best å gjøre som mamma sa. Og jeg stilte opp hver gang. Gjorde alt jeg kunne for henne. Men det var aldri nok. Selv om jeg flyttet ut i slutten av tenårene, så hadde hun kontroll på kroppen min til langt ut i voksenlivet. Alarmsystemet mitt var konstant på. Jeg var alltid redd for å gjøre noe galt. Jeg var anspent, nakken var stiv. Alle kroppens normale stoppfunksjoner var helt ødelagt. Jeg visste ikke når jeg var mett, eller når jeg var sliten, eller trøtt. Når jeg var trist, eller når jeg var forelsket. Jeg fortsatte bare å gjøre som hun hadde programmert meg til. Jeg giftet meg til og med. Fordi det ville hun at jeg skulle gjøre. Jeg gjorde det veldig bra på jobben. Veldig bra. Men følelseslivet mitt var helt ødelagt. Det var ikke før i slutten av 30-årene at jeg opplevde det første gang. Da jobbet jeg i et stort flyselskap. Og der møtte jeg en mann. Jeg kjente at jeg ble helt rar i kroppen. Når jeg så på han, så ble jeg så godt humør. Følte meg levende og til stede. Og kroppen ble liksom koblet på. Jeg kjente at jeg ble forelsket for første gang. Og da hadde jeg vært gift i 11 år. Mamma hadde ikke kontroll på kroppen min lenger. Den reagerte uten hennes tillatelse. Så jeg skilte meg. Kom meg bort, begynte å reise, opplevde verden, opplevde meg selv av en helt ny frihet. For nå har jeg nemlig min egen verden. Helt uavhengig av mamma. Dette er historien til en 56 år gammel mann som ble utsatt for seksuelle overgrep av moren sin da han var barn. Jeg har valgt å gi min stemme til ham. Ingen voksne eier sine barn. Barn eier sin egen kropp, sine egne tanker og sine egne følelser. De er like mye verdt som oss voksne. Kjære mann på 56 år, når du forteller din historie til meg, og lar meg fortelle den videre, kan vi sammen bidra til at barn som vokser opp i dag får vite at de har rett til å være trygge. Har rett til å være frie. Derfor er jeg her.
Minutes. Thank you. Remember, every day children are exposed to sexual abuse, and we have the responsibility to prevent this. Out there are many girls and boys who are carrying a secret and who, in their own way, are saying, "I am here," and who are waiting for the courageous adult who says, "I am here." Thank you. I have to do one thing. I know, I just have to do one thing before and that is, I wanted to take a picture of you that I can give to this girl who now is 23 years old. Is it okay? And I do it in a modern way with a selfie. Okay? Okay? Say hello. I will give you the regards from you, okay?
Thank you very much.